In the heart of Europe, a powerful voice emerged at the Munich Security Conference. J.D. Vance, the acclaimed author of Hillbilly Elegy, delivered a stirring speech. His words resonated with conviction, calling for the protection of free speech. The conference, a gathering of world leaders, became a platform for truth and courage. Vance's presence at the conference was significant. He brought a fresh perspective to the global stage. His message was clear. Freedom of speech is under attack. This fundamental right, he argued, is the cornerstone of a thriving democracy. Vance's speech was a call to action for all who value liberty. He reminded the audience that freedom is not a given. It must be defended and protected. His words served as a timely reminder of the importance of this fundamental right. The Munich Security Conference provided a crucial platform for this important message. Vance's words resonated with many, sparking debate and discussion. His speech was a reminder that the fight for freedom is never truly over. J.D. Vance's speech went beyond mere rhetoric. He pointed to a concerning trend, the gradual erosion of free speech in many parts of the world. This erosion, he warned, poses a significant threat to the very foundations of democratic societies. He argued that the suppression of dissenting voices, even those deemed unpopular or offensive, is a dangerous path. When individuals are afraid to express their thoughts and beliefs openly, it stifles intellectual discourse and hinders progress. Vance highlighted instances where governments and institutions have implemented laws and policies that restrict free expression. These restrictions, he contended, often stem from a desire to maintain control and silence opposition. The erosion of free speech, Vance emphasized, is not only a threat to individual liberty, but also to the health of a nation. A society that values open dialogue and the free exchange of ideas is a society that is more likely to innovate, solve problems, and thrive. J.D. Vance did not shy away from controversy in his speech. He directly challenged European leaders, accusing some of hypocrisy in their stance on free speech. He argued that certain European nations, while outwardly championing democratic values, have enacted laws that stifle dissent. Vance drew a stark comparison between some European leaders and the tyrants of the Cold War era. He pointed to instances where individuals have faced legal repercussions for expressing views deemed offensive or hateful by the government, even if those views are protected under the principles of free speech. He cited specific examples, such as the arrest of a protester outside an abortion clinic in the United Kingdom, and the conviction of an anti-Islam activist in Sweden. These cases, Vance argued, demonstrate a troubling trend of governments using the law to silence dissenting voices. Vance's critique of European leaders was met with mixed reactions. Some praised his boldness in addressing what they perceive as a double standard in the application of free speech principles. Others criticized his remarks as inflammatory and argued that he oversimplified a complex issue. Section 4. The Enemy Within: Populism and the Erosion of Freedom. J.D. Vance's speech went beyond critiquing external threats to freedom of speech. He also addressed what he sees as an internal threat, the rise of populism and its potential to erode democratic values from within. Vance argued that populist movements, while often tapping into legitimate grievances among the electorate, can also be susceptible to authoritarian tendencies. He warned against the dangers of leaders who exploit populist sentiment to consolidate power and silence opposition. He highlighted instances where populist leaders have demonized the media, attacked the judiciary, and undermined democratic institutions, all under the guise of representing the will of the people. Vance argued that such actions, while often popular in the short term, can have long-lasting detrimental effects on democratic societies. Vance's remarks on populism were particularly relevant in the context of the Munich Security Conference, which was attended by numerous world leaders grappling with the rise of populist movements in their own countries. Section 5. A Message of Hope: The Power of Christian Voices. Despite his sobering assessment of the challenges facing freedom of speech, J.D. Vance ended his speech on a message of hope. He urged Christians in particular to raise their voices and engage in the public square. He reminded them that their faith calls them to be salt and light in the world, to stand up for truth and justice. Vance encouraged Christians to view their faith not as a private matter, but as a source of strength and motivation to be agents of positive change in society. He challenged them to engage in respectful dialogue, to advocate for policies that protect fundamental freedoms, and to be a voice for the voiceless. Vance's message resonated with many Christians who feel increasingly marginalized in a secularizing world. His speech served as a call to action, reminding them of their responsibility to be engaged citizens and to make their voices heard on issues that matter.